BBC Two is running a little late, but now tells the last of its tales of rock and roll on one of the longest roads in America, Highway 61.
Every great song tells a story, and behind every great song, there's a story to be told.
It's going to happen fast, and you're not going to get it all, and you might even hear the wrong words, you know. And then afterwards, see, I won't be able to talk to you afterwards. I got nothing to say about these things I write. I mean, I just write them. I got nothing to say anything about them. I don't write them for any reason. There's no great message. I mean, if you know, you want to tell other people that, go ahead and tell them. But I'm not going to have to answer to it.
Oh, God said to Abraham, kill me a son. Abe said, man, you must be putting me on. God said no. Abe said what? God said you can do what you want, Abe, but next time you see me coming, you better run. Well, Abe said, where you want this killing done? God said, on down Highway 61. Georgia Sam, he had a bloody nose. Welfare department, they wouldn't give him no clothes. They asked poor Howard, where can I go? Howard said, there's only one place I know. Sam said, tell me quick, man, I got to run. Oh, Howard just pointed with his gun and said, that way down Highway 61. Well, Mac the Finger said to Louis the King, I got 40 red, white, blue shoestrings and 1,000 telephones that don't ring. Do you know where I can get rid of these things? And Louis the King said, let me think for a minute, son. Then he said, yes, I think it can be easily done. Just take everything down to Highway 61. Now the fifth daughter on the 12th night told her first father that things weren't right. My complexion, she says, is much too white. He said, come here and step into the light. He says, you're right. Let me tell the second mother this has been done. But the second mother was with the seventh son, and they were both out on Highway 61. Now the roving gambler, he was very bored, trying to create a next world war. He found a promoter who nearly fell off the floor. He said, I never engaged in this kind of thing before, but yes, I think it can be very easily done. We'll just put some bleachers out in the sun and have it on Highway 61.
Well, we're in Hibbing, Minnesota. It's a community of about 20,000 people. We're in the very northern part of the United States, about 80 miles from the Canadian border. It's an iron mining town. It's a nice place to live. Bob Dylan grew up here. Highway 61 was the main way to get from Hibbing to the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul, and so if you wanted to go to where the bright lights in the big city were, you had to go down Highway 61. It was the main route from Hibbing to where you wanted to go.
This incredible highway that starts in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and runs down to New Orleans is a very big symbol in American music, because jazz traveled up the Mississippi, which Highway 61 parallels for a good part of its old route. Jazz came up the river, blues came up the river. A lot of great basic American culture came right up that highway and up that river. And as a teenager, he had traveled that way on radio, more or less the radio waves going up Highway 61 to where he lived. He got very interested in black music early on. Black music was something very special.
I never get out of these blues alive. You know I'm doomed with the blues. I'll be doomed till the day I die.
If you'd been born in a place like Duluth, and if you were raised in a very, very parochial town like Hibbing, Minnesota, you had to start making your escape plans very early. Highway 61 became, I think, to him a symbol of freedom, a symbol of movement, a symbol of independence, and a chance to get away from a life he didn't want in that town.
Come and gather round, friends, and I'll tell you a tale of when the red iron ore pits run aplenty, but the cardboard filled windows and old men on the benches tell you now that the whole town is empty. The iron ore poured as the years passed the door. The drag lines and shovels, they was humming, till one day my brother failed to come home, the same as my father before him. My children will go as soon as they grow, for there ain't nothing here now to hold them.
There was probably a lot of mutual animosity between Bob Zimmerman, Bob Dylan, and the community. I don't think people in town were very thrilled at some things that Bob Dylan said about the community, and he said it was a good place to run away from. So it was hard during those times to even find somebody that would admit to knowing him or being a friend of his.
Bob and I went to high school together. He was about a year ahead of me in school, but during the, I would say 1957 through 59, we became friends and had a common interest in music. And we were aware, of course, of the economic situation of the Iron Range at the time, in this town in particular, which was sort of hard-pressed because of the iron depletion in the mines, which caused a great deal of unemployment and hardships. And I guess in one sense, when you accompany that with long, hard winters, it was kind of a bleak time to live but it wasn't really that bad as long as we had friendship and music. This is the street that Bob lived on. As a matter of fact, we're approaching his house shortly. Many hours were spent here with Bob listening to the records that he ordered out of Little Rock, Arkansas and down in Minneapolis, and we spent time up in his bedroom playing the guitar and practicing and pretending that we were big recording artists. And it's your typical teenage rock fantasy for one of us that came true.
Let's turn this thing off. We're cribbing too much.
Bob had said Hibbing was a good place to leave, and at that time it really was. It just seemed that to especially a person growing up at that time, Hibbing was not maybe the place that they wanted to stick around. There were much better places.
Most people think of New Orleans, you usually think of Dixieland, or traditional jazz, as you might call it. Was lucky enough to get in a studio band. The nucleus come from the Dave Bartholomew band, and we recorded people like Fats Domino, Little Richard, Sherilyn Lee, and Guitar Slim. In fact, every hit that Little Richard ever made was made right in New Orleans. Of course, then I played baritone saxophone on all those rhythm and blues sessions. But when I wasn't in the studio, I was playing jazz in the clubs, modern jazz.
Final question is, have you ever heard of Bob Dylan?
I know nothing about Bob Dylan.
I woke up this morning, Lucille was not in sight. I asked my friends about her, but all they did was talk. Lucille, please come back where you belong. I beg her to you, baby, please don't leave me alone.
Look at Little Richard. How do you, Little Richard puts that expression? You think singing is just jumping around and screaming? We gotta have some kind of expression. I mean, you gotta have expression. Well, Johnny Cash has got expression. There's no expression. You got a different expression. St. Paul, Minnesota. I walk the line because you're mine. You're doing it wrong.
Up in this part of the country, there is no definite form of music that is identifiable to this region, and nothing American like the blues from New Orleans, for example, or Chicago. We sort of depended on the radio, which late at night, when we got better signals from the southern stations, we could sit down and listen to the music that we thought was the music to listen to, and that had a lot of influence on us.
What's the best kind of music? Rhythm and blues. State your reason in no less than 25 minutes. Rhythm and blues is something that you really can't quite explain. See, when you hear a song of rhythm and blues, when you hear it's a good rhythm and blues song, chills go up your spine when you hear a song like that. But when you hear a song like Johnny Cash, what do you want to do? You want to leave. When you hear a song like some good rhythm and blues song, you want to cry when you hear one of those songs.
This is Bill Farish, your blues doctor, on Highway 61 and PRM.
Traveling down that long, lonesome road now with James Sunford Thomas from Leland, Mississippi. The road runs right by his door. It's called 61 Highway Blues.
Till I give down in my knee. I walk 61 highway till I give down in my knee. You know I ain't found nobody. Yeah, my poor. Well, tell me 61 highway, longest road they know. Tell me 61 highway, longest road they know. You know it runs from Chicago down to the Gulf of Mexico.
This is James Son Thomas in Leland, Mississippi. The man who done had such a hard time. I used to be a grave digger. I used to be a farmer. I used to chop cotton. So how about I did all them kind of jobs around in the state. I played blues. I used to play a little country music, but I really loved the blues. And the first electric guitar that I played belongs to Elmo James. And I used to slip in after hours, and then when they take a break, I would play Elmo's guitar. See, all my schoolmates, they would love to, hear me play. But later, I hadn't played none. Come on, my hand's been stiff. I have something to use for my hand.
I got a little old cabin way out on Highway 61. Where you can bear my body, we're out on Highway 61.
The blues has poetic license to take that highway to New York City or even to Tokyo, depending on the mood and the spirit of the artist. Literally, it runs from below New Orleans to Canada. But we're talking about mythic places in the blues rather than the literal map. certainly in the Mississippi Delta, things are different from most parts of America, and it's out of that culture that the blues sprang, and Highway 61 is the nerve center of that world. Historically, Highway 61 was the way out, and the symbol of the car became the chief symbol of the blues. It became an image of love-making, it became an image of escape, and the highway was the focus for all of that.
Well, it's so long, baby. I must say goodbye. I'm gonna roam this highway until the day I die.
Have you ever heard of Bob Dylan?
Bo Diddley?
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, I can't remember. I can't remember that name.
Now the fifth daughter on the 12th night told her first father that things weren't right. My complexion, she says, is much too white. He said, come here and step into the light. He says, you're right. Let me tell the second mother this has been done. But the second mother was with the seventh son, and they were both out on Highway 61.
Well, it was, I think, in 1958, and he informed me one day that he was going to be part of a talent show at the school. The full student body was going to be there, and he wanted me to play lead guitar. And we maybe rehearsed the song 2 times, if that. I don't remember it.
With puss goes the bumblebee, big old bird. But the night you see the darling, and the sweetest sound I've ever heard. Well, I've seen the beauty of the red, red road, the beauty of the skies of blue. Oh, the beauty of the evening sunset, dear, but the beauty of you, oh, sweet as honey from the honeycomb, sweet as a grape from the vine. Well, love to be sweet, darling, and I hope someday you'll be mine.
As soon as the curtain was drawn, you felt a little warm rush. Bob gets into the piano and starts doing his thing, and I'm following along. And after it got going, it was actually kind of fun. We really got into it. And the response was very conservative at first. But I could tell that that was of no concern to Bob at all. He did his thing the way he wanted to do it, and that was that.
Faster, and I mean, I'm trying to follow fast record speeding.
That's not
I
slow.
can't help it. I know it ain't slow, but it's not fast enough, still.
What are you talking about, man? That's plenty fast.
No, it isn't.
That'll sell just like that, 10 million in a week.
Yeah,
Well,
what are you trying to do, man? Coming into this wail like that. I mean...
well, that was a new song. Now I'm starting another one.
It was difficult to tell what songs he wrote and what songs he didn't write, because sometimes I discovered that he said he wrote a song and he didn't, and other times I thought he did not write the song and he did. So it was difficult to say. Needless to say, it was pretty similar to the music that we were into at the time. I remember a big influence on us musically was a guitar player called Scotty Moore, who was with the early Elvis Presley combo with Bill Black. And we emulated Scotty's guitar style. I remember Bob coming over and says, listen, I picked up some Scotty Moore sound. He figured out how to do it. And, you know, that was the greatest thing that had happened to us in a long time. So we essentially copied his style and learned to play guitar, that type of music, by listening to old Elvis Presley records, Mystery Train, Milk Cow Blues Boogie, That's the Right Mom, When My Baby Left Me, that ilk of music.
Well, it took my baby, but it never will again. No, not again.
Elvis, just before he broke, was living in Lauderdale Courts in Memphis, which is a federal housing project. And in order to live there, your family could not make a combined income of over $150 a month. Lauderdale Courts sits on the north side of the downtown section of Memphis, and it's the apartment where the Presley lived bordered on 3rd Street, and 3rd Street is Highway 61, which then took you from New Orleans up to Chicago. They lived there for almost 4 years, and it's a real, not a terrible situation, but I mean, it's just not the situation you hope to be in, you know. And all this time he was having a dream to get out of there, you know, and he was hoping music would get him out of there.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without love of my own. Blue moon, and we belong together. Yes, we belong together. Yes, I know. You're mine, and we belong together.
You know, other than Ricky Nelson. Now, Ricky Nelson's another one of these guys. See, Ricky Nelson.
Well, Ricky Nelson's out of the question.
Well, he copies Elvis Presley, and Elvis Presley.
He can't sing like Elvis Presley.
Well, he can't sing at all, Ricky Nelson. So we might as well forget him. I mean, you know, when you hear music like the Diamonds, take the Diamonds for instance, they're on this big popular record, you know. So that they're popular, big stars. But where do they get all their songs? You know where they get all their songs? They get all their songs from little groups. See, they copy all the little groups. Same thing with Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley. Who does he copy? He copies Clyde McPhatter. He copies Little Richard.
Wait a minute.
He copies the Drifters.
Wait a minute. Name 4 songs that Elvis Presley's copied from those little groups.
He copies all Little Richard songs.
Like
Rip
what?
It Up, Long Tall Sally, Ready Teddy, what's the other one?
Money Honey?
No, Money Honey he copied from Clyde McPhatter. He copied I Was the One, he copied that from the Coasters. He copied I Got a Woman from Ray Charles.
Listen, that song was written for him.
Read the Bible.
No.
Have you ever read it?
Have I ever? I've glanced through it.
Because you see, a lot of the things you say.
I've glanced through it. I haven't read it.
ויהי אחר הדברים האלה באלוהים נישא את אברהם ויאמר אליו אברהם ויאמר הנני ויאמר קח נא את בנך את יחידך אשר אהבת את יצחק ולך לך אל ארץ המוריה והלהו שם לעולה על אחד ההרים אשר אמר אליך וישכם אברהם בבוקר ויחבוש את חמורו